Hello everyone. Today we are going to start our lecture by talking about adjectives and adverbs. Guys, what I want actually is to pay attention to this, two categories in English because they are so very essential to, to show how advanced our English is, okay? So that's why I want you, to pay attention on or to spot the light on, okay? Here we talk, we talked actually before about the adjectives, okay, and we mentioned that, where the adjective occur in the sentence. For example, we mentioned sometimes it might be, before the noun or after the verb, as the in the NB, or after the verb in the object. And also we mentioned, two types or the function of the adjectives. But here we are just taking review, عم ناخد فكرة اليوم تانية عن الصفات، شو موقعها بالجملة، وإيمتى بنستخدمها، والإنفليكشن انعكاساتها في الجملة. ذكرنا هذا الشيء بمحاضرة سابقة، بس اليوم نحن عم ناخذ بس رؤية قصيرة حول هذا الموضوع. Okay, so let's start with the, adjectives. So they usually adjectives function as two, attributive, okay, and predictive. So here we go. Attributive. What does it mean, attributive? We said that before, Attributive is وصفي, يعني describing something that, so we mentioned that usually, attributive, adjective function as internal, okay, pre-head modifier, okay? It usually occurs as, here, internal pre-head modifier, يعني internal داخلي قلنا pre-head ما قبل الاسم، معدل ما قبل الاسم to a following noun للاسم الموجود. اوكي فقلنا الاتريبيوتيف الوصفي، اوكي يلي بيجي وصفي بيجي داخلي وبيجي معدل قبل الاسم. while predictive هي information, this is the first time you heard about it. يعني هي لأول مرة تذكر. Okay, this is the first time that it is mentioned in my lectures, so please be careful to this information. Okay, prediction here, prediction, okay, predictive adjectives function mainly as predictive complement. أيوة شو معنى هالحكي؟ predictive means إلنا تنبؤي، يعني صفات تنبؤية. function تعمل mainly predictive complement بالتكملة التنبؤية in a closed structure. okay بشكل شبه الجملة، بشكل الجملة. قلنا to distinguish actually between attributive, predictive, we need to provide our speech with examples like an old car. So here I'm describing this car being old, black hair, and also, describing the hair being black, good news, the same. يعني هون صفات وصفية عم بوصف الاسم. okay وقلنا الوصفي، الصفات الوصفية بتجي pre-head ما قبل الاسم، pay attention internal داخلي. okay أما البريدكتيف يلي هي تنبؤية like kind of predicted, you are kind of predicting something. So like the car is old, so here old يعني أنا ببين معي it's shown that this car is kind of old. The second example, her hair is black. أنا عم اتنبأ that her hair is kind of black. So here also the news is good. So أي صفة تنبؤية we usually here put it as it function as predictive complement يعني تكملة تنبؤية يعني after the verb. okay now let's move on to the grade. okay the grade of the adjective. They either inflect for grade showing a contrast between plain and comparative and superlative. So here, for example, الصفات عنا بتتقسم للplain, comparative, superlative يعني root of the adjective, sorry. Like she is tall, she is taller than you, she is the tallest of them all, you know. This is useful, this is more useful, this is most useful one. So this is depends on the adjective itself, how many, you know, syllables it contains, okay, in which that we put, you know, er for the comparative and more for, you know, the comparative form for two or more syllable. And according to the superlative, we put est for the one syllable adjective, and we put the must before them two or more syllables for the adjectives, okay? Modification. What does it mean modification? Modification اللي هو التعديل يلي بيجي, okay, according to the adverbs. For this lecture, we are going only, sorry, not adverbs, adjectives. In this lecture, we are only going to concentrate on what? On adjectives, okay, guys? So pay attention for this point. Modification. So according to the modification, they can be modified by using adverbs. Okay, so here the adverbs are doubled underline, you know, here, adverbs. Too old. So here old is adjective. يعني هون سوري أنا ما حكيت. رح أقول لكم الموديفيكيشن اللي هو التعديل، إنه عندنا بعض الظروف اللي هن الادفيربس بيجوا بيعدلوا تمام الصفات مثل هون too old. old this is adjective. too this is معدلة. ليه؟ لأنه عم تعطيني الexaggeration، يعني إنه كتير قديم، عم تعطيني الصفة المبالغ فيها إنه كتير قديم. okay so too old. remarkably tall يعني بشكل ملحوظ أو ملاحظ عليه كتير طويل. okay extremely useful for us يعني حتما okay like kind of useful مفيد لنا. this is modification for, you know, the adjectives. Now here we are going to talk about adjectives versus, you know, noun. يعني we are going to do, to make kind of, you know, comparison between the adjectives and noun. Okay, like the first one, inflection. Okay, inflection here. So let's start by, you know, talking about the inflection. Usually the inflection of, you know, the adjective, we say that comparative, superlative, inflected form, that it has to. According to the noun, it has, you know, singular and plural. Okay, but what they want you to know that sometimes, okay, you know, we cannot, you know, if you want to distinguish whether this is a noun or this is, for example, adjective, just to try to put, you know, to put the er form in the comparative or the est in the superlative. For example, here, wise. Wise, what does it mean? Big, smooth. All of this, you know, all of these are adjectives. Okay? We can say the superlative wisest, biggest, smoothest. Okay? فينا نحط لهم اسلوب التفضيل للصفة، وهذا الشيء اللي بيأكد لي انه هيدي صفة، بس ما فيني احط لها الصفة للصفة اس تاعت السنجولار قبل الهي والشي والات، you know, like, you know، فيني اقول judges, he judges me, like, you know، بس ما فيني اقول he wises me. no no wise يعني حكيم. sizes فيني اقول sizes، you know، فيني اقول silks. okay so بس ما فيني اقول مثلا judges، ما فيني احط الاي اس تي. this is what how to distinguish, you know. so بدنا نركز على الانفليكشن، انعكاسات الورد الجيفن، you know، الجيفن word اللي عندنا الجمله او الكلمه المعطيه. so it depends on its inflection we know whether it is noun or, you know, adjective. So according to the adjective, to make sure that this is adjectives, we just try to put s, for example, after the subject, like he wises, so it doesn't make any sense in this way. So we know that this is an adjective, and we try to put the est form, and it becomes wisest. Okay, and this is, you know, makes sense. Okay, he's the wisest person that I've ever met, you know, like this way. So in this sentence, it makes sense, you know. So I figure out, okay يعني بكتشف or discover that this is an adjective, it's not you know noun. Let's move on to the determiners, okay? So, but before here, they are telling us, not all the noun have plural forms, and not all of the adjectives have comparative and superlative, forms. But where the form do exist, the differences between nouns, okay, and adjectives is particularly clear. يعني مو كل فعليا تمام مو كل الأسماء عندها شكل البلورال راح تقولوا لي هذه الكلمة، ومو كل الصفات عندها الكومباراتيف والسوبرلاتيف فورم. اوكي سو نحن لنميز between النون والادجكتيف راح يكون واضح بتطبيق القاعدة السابقة اللي نحن حكينا عنها. اوكي إذا ما زبطت بالcomparative ممكن it can works with superlative. If it's not for example if I want to say that this word is noun, so we should try to put the s plural, the for example like uh, for example like fish, the word fish, this word this is itself. Okay, it can be singular, it can be plural, but if I put to it the est, the fishiest, it can be. So here I discovered that this is a noun. عرفتوا يعني أنا بمثال الفيش أنا بعرف إنه هذه الكلمة يلي هي السمك ممكن تكون singular ممكن تكون plural، فأنا ما فيني أقول fishes، ما موجود هيدا القاعدة في اللغة الإنجليزية. فأنا ما عرفت هيدي طيب صفة ولا اسم، فبحط لها الاي اس تي فورم، ما زبطت اوكي معناها هذه نوع، اوكي معناها هذا اسم. مثل مثلا بعض الصفات غالبا most of the adjective they accept the comparative and superlative forms, but less of them they don't accept. So in this way maybe if I got an adjective for example which is for example let me give you an adjective um, like I got nothing in my mind actually. Okay like nasty. Nasty بتجي بمعنى or شيء مقرف. Okay, because you are going to take this. So nasty we can say the nastiest, we can say the nastier than. This is because this is an adjective, but we can say nasties. ما فينا نحط s plural for it. Okay, so now let's move on to the determiner. Okay, here according to the determiner nouns take determiners as dependent. الأسماء كمان الشيء اللي بيميز تمام الاسم عن الصفة بالdeterminer إنه الأسماء بتاخد dependence، تاخد determiners، بس الadjective ما في إنها تاخد determiners. Like أنا فيني أقول okay I can say that which judge or my size or some silk, but I cannot say which wise or my big or some smooth, in this way. So adjective does not accept, okay, does not accept determiners, okay. So here we mention the inflection of the noun with s does not apply to the adjective. يعني انعكاسات الاسم بأس الجمع لا يطبق على الصفات. هي أول وحدة. ثاني وحدة nouns الأسماء تتطلب determiners يلي كان الفانكشن تبعهم عملهم as dependents in the sentence. okay. أما الادجكتيف ما بتقبل determiners at all. Okay, so this is the second point. Let's move on to the modifiers. According to the modifiers, noun take adjectives as modifier. يعني عادة الأسماء هي اللي بتاخذ الصفات كمعدل إلها. مثل لما بقول مثلا a fascinating view، يعني a fascinating. So fascinating here which is the adjective, okay, هي اللي عم بتعدل لي the word or the noun view. Okay, so but adjective do not normally, adjective do not normally take other adjectives as a modifier. يعني أنا ما فيني أعدل صفة بصفة تانية. Pay attention to this. So we mentioned that, usually adjectives come as a modifier to the noun. يعني الصفات هي بتعدل الاسم. Okay. لكن أنا ما فيني أجيب صفة تعدل صفة تانية. This is impossible. Okay. Impossible. So let's move on and read the given examples in order to understand the rule. A remarkable judge. A remarkable judge. What does that mean actually? So a remarkable judge, here judge is noun, okay? Remarkable, so this is adjective which is modifying the noun. It is incredible size. Size here noun. Incredible, this is adjective modifying the noun. This wonderful silk. Silk, this is noun. Wonderful also modifier. But we cannot say, for example, remarkably wise, incredibly big, wonderfully smooth. We cannot say this way because adjectives are not, modifiers for another adjective. So let me just try here to put that, to distinguish between adjective and noun, the inflection. منعيد الانفليكشن انعكاس الاسم بالاس ما بيقبلوا الصفات. الديترمينرز يلي هي الديترمينرز بتجي بمعنى الداعم او هيك شيء. اوكي معدل داعم anyway I could not translate literary translation because this is a grammatical words, هيدي اسماء او كلمات قواعديه يعني I cannot translate it literally, ما فيني ترجمها حرفيا. But anyway I'm trying to make it close to you, انا محاول انه اقربها لكم. الdeterminators, okay, here usually noun take determinators while adjective don't accept determinators. يعني قلنا الأسماء بتقبل determinators، الصفات ما بتقبل. آخر شيء الموديفايرز، قلنا الصفات بتعدل modify adjectives modify the nouns while here adjectives cannot modify other adjectives. Let's continue with the function. According to this point, what we have, we said that, what is the function? The ability here, the ability of noun, here, the ability of noun to head a phrase in subject and object position. يعني دائما الnoun عنده موقعين في الجملة and we, I've mentioned this point. تمام بيجي head of noun okay when as a subject or as an object يعني كفاعل أو مفعول به بالجملة. Okay, so then do you think that can we replace them by adjectives? No. Like let's read the following example. According to the subject, the judge arrived. The judge arrived. But we cannot say wise arrived. حكيم وصل. We cannot say because this is an adjective, Big amazed me, Big, كبير, فاجأني أو أذهلني. What? It doesn't make any sense. Is it right? So here, what I want to pay your attention that, adjectives cannot function the same of noun. يعني الصفات ما فينها تشتغل نفس شغل الأسماء بالجملة. That's what I'm talking about. So here adjectives like wise, big, I like smooth. So here smooth cannot be, cannot be the object of the sentence here. We can say the judge arrived, its size amazed me, I like silk. We can use noun as, which function as the subject and object. Now let's move on, okay, to the, the second, section of between the comparison between adjective and noun, which is overlap between the categories، يعني التداخل between الفئات. لو أوضح لكم ليش أنا أعطيتكم هاي الفقرة لكم، ليش؟ لأنه it can be an adjective denoting a low temperature. أحيانا ممكن نستخدم، تمام، كلمة واحدة ممكن تكون صفة، okay, and it might be noun. It might be adjective and it might be noun. Like the soup is cold. So here cold is what? Here cold is adjective in the first sentence. And it can be noun denoting a minor illness, like I got a bad cold, you know, I got a bad cold. So here cold means نزلة برد. So here sometimes, you know, the adjective, okay, or the word can be adjective, can be noun. Like cold, like blue, you know, like red. And that's, you know, there is several examples. So let's compare them. Let's move to the comparison here. Inflection, colder, coldest. Noun, cold, colds. This is incorrect. Determinators, we cannot say that, you know, the adjective determinators, for example, which cold, you know. Okay, if it is noun for, if the meaning is cold as, if the word, sorry, let me concentrate. If the word is adjective, we cannot say which cold, أي برد. But if it means like noun, which is kind of نزلة برد, kind of illness, my cold or which cold, we can say this. According to the modifiers, like, you know, terribly cold, we can use the modifier like this way, or a terrible cold. Because here terribly, this is adverb. Adverb usually modifies the, you know, the adjectives. The function, you know, the function of the adjectives, we say that it's only before the head, before the noun, or after some verbs. Like, you know, according to the noun, we mentioned that the function can be MB or can be, you know, sorry, subject or can be object, like this. The cold was nasty. Here, nasty, يعني مقرف. You know, I mentioned this. Don't catch a cold. So here, a cold, here, what is it? This is object. Good. Again and again, guys, if you have any question you just can ask me through WhatsApp messages. You can text me wherever you can, okay? Now let's move on to the fused modifier head construction. What does that mean? Actually, we have mentioned before the fused. What does it mean, the fused? Because in our previous, you know, lecture, we talked about the fused noun. The fused noun اللي هو الاسم المحذوف. Okay. هون عندنا the fused modifier head يلي هو يوجد modifier ولا يوجد noun. Okay. يعني الموديفاير البديل الموديفاير البديل عن النوع. اوكي، فهون انا عندي صفة بس ما عندي اسم. And you know, this is also in the same section of the comparison between nouns and adjectives. So let's move on and talk about here the examples. The simple one. The first version was not very good, but the second was fine. So here the second, this is an adjective. But I should mention, you know, the second version was fine. So here the version is dropped. يعني الاسم محذوف. شو إجا بديل عنه؟ إجا عنه بديل يلي هو الصفة. Okay? Portrait. I could not offered, okay? I could not offered even the cheapest of them. أنا ما قدرت يعني وفر حتى لأرخص وحدة فيهم. The cheapest, here there should be the cheapest one or the cheapest phone or the cheapest something, you know, there should be noun, but the noun is dropped. Okay, here we got number 3 special. The tax cut will benefit only the rich. شو معناها؟ يعني انخفاض الضريبة the tax cut will يعني انخفاض أو انقطاع أو تقليل الضريبة بتجي بمعنى كمان. will benefit سوف يفيد فقط الأغنياء. Okay, so here what I want to tell you that إنه sometimes the adjective can replace or stand by itself you know instead of the noun. يعني في نون الصفات يوقفوا لحالهم بالجملة، تمام، أو يجوا كبديل بالجملة عن الاسم because they are in head position in the noun phrase structure. Okay, all of them, they are considered as a head position in the noun phrase structure. Now, we have discussed and compared between what we call it noun versus, you know, adjective. The second point, which we are going to discuss, how to distinguish between, you know, adjective versus verbs. Okay, let's start one by one. Also the same, you know, the inflection, you know, usually the inflection of the verbs like, you know, infinitive, past simple, and verb, you know, past participle or verb three. So this is according to the inflection of the verb. Well, according to, you know, to the adjective, the inflection of the adjective, we mentioned that a lot, the comparative and superlative, okay, which got 2 inflectional form. Okay, so يعني اللي بدي أقصده إنه الverb we cannot، ما فينا نعكس الverb بالجملة بإني أضيف له أسلوب المقارنة والتفضيل. عرفتوا شلون؟ وهيدي المحاضرة كتير ضرورية وكتير مهمة لحتى تحسنوا تميزوا بين الصفات والأسماء، بين الصفات والأفعال، وبين الصفات والظروف، كلها رح أشرح لكم إياها one by one. Okay, so in this lecture we are going, you know, to talk about, you know, these 2 major points. Let's move on and talk about the examples. Sorry. So here, the examples here. So what I want actually to pay your attention that, you know, here I will highlight it. Usually, you know, verbs, okay, can be the, you know, the preterite, which is the past tense, and the third person singular form. يعني الأفعال ممكن يكونوا ماضي، ممكن يكونوا the third person singular form اللي هي verb 3 or past participle. While the adjective cannot be like that, okay? For example, here as verbs, we can say loved, we can say regretted, as perturbated, we can say enjoyed, but we cannot say lover, regretter, or enjoyer. And also here, according to the adjectives, we can't put the adjective in the, you know, perturate form. Founded, saddened, appreciated, or appreciative, okay, foundered or sadder, you know, we can say that founder, we can make, you know, sadder, the comparative form of the, you know, the adjective. But here they said that there is no comparative form of the appreciative, okay, this is the adjective appreciative. Okay, now this is the point. Verbs can inflect into preterite and thirds, you know, or past participle. It's easier to use. Okay, Let me clean it first. Now let's move on by using the modifiers here. By using the modifiers. Modifiers usually, okay, verbs take largely the same modifier as adjective. You know, unlike nouns. Pay attention to this. Unlike يعني على عكس الأسماء، الأفعال والصفات ما بياخدوا modifier مثلهم مثل الadjectives. ما فيني أقول أنا مثلا immensely, okay, like this example here. Compare. Kim loved Pat immensely. Immensely يعني بشكل هائل, okay? And Kim was immensely fond of Pat. Nevertheless, على الرغم من هيك, there are some adverbs that can modify adjective, not verbs. يعني لما استخدمنا أنا بالجملة الإمنسلي اللي هي الادفيرب، أنا استخدمتها لموديفاي لتعدل، تمام، شو الصفات مو بس الأفعال. الادverbs, you know, sometimes it modify. For example, he drives slowly. Slowly هون جاي عم بتعدل لي الverb slowly. How is he driving, you know? So here usually the adverb modifies we mention this according to the adverbs, and I will mention it later. Adverb usually modifies itself, adjectives and verbs. Okay? يعني الظروف بتعدل الفعل، بتعدل نفسها وبتعدل كمان الصفات في الجملة. So إذا بنقول according to modifier, okay, ال verbs, okay, والadjective اثنيناتهم, okay, let me clean it. According to verbs and adjectives, both of them, they are, you know, they got modifiers, which is most of them, they are modifiers, adverbs. Now let's move on to this one, okay? Here, at the same point, adverb modifies adjective, not verbs. They are giving us these examples according to this point. هلا لما أنا بحكي لكم إنه الظروف بتعدل الصفات مو بتعدل الأفعال، مو معناها بالكامل in general. In this situation, okay, I'm specifying, you know, okay, like ما فيني أقول I very love her لأنه ال very cannot modify the verb love, you know, لأنه يعني هون ال adverb ما فينها modify the verb. He pretty regrets it. This is incorrect. For example, she's too enjoyed it. So here adverbs cannot modify verbs. Some adverbs, okay, like but I can't, and also, you know, I love her very, it can be. He regrets it pretty. All of them, they are incorrect. She enjoyed it too, incorrect, okay? So while here, according to the adjective, I can modify the adjectives by using, you know, here, for example, I'm very fond of her. مغرم, fond, مغرم. أنا مغرم فيها. He is pretty sad. هو حقا pretty. This is adverb اللي هي جاية modifying the adjectives. She was too appreciative. Okay, she was too appreciative. So this is also can be, you know, the adverb modify the adjective. But not this adjective, okay? Pay attention that, you know, the adjective appreciative, like دائما there is an exceptions, you know, دائما لكل قاعدة استثناء يعني. وهون عندي اعطوني هي الصفة بالتحديد الappreciative، يعني شخص مقدر appreciative، اعطوني اياه بالتحديد لانه انا ما فيني اقول هي كتير مقدرة. No, she's, you know, she is kind of appreciative person, you know. So you know, appreciative there should be before noun. هي الصفة كنت تسألوني شلون بدكم بدها ممارسة. Okay, this is, it needs kind of practicing. Now let's move on to the function. Okay, now, you know, the verb, we all know that the verb, okay, here the verb function as a verbs function as a predicator, or as the, you know, the head of the verb phrase in closed structure, whereas adjective do not. Okay, يعني الأفعال مكانهم بالجملة predicator يلي هي ال head of the verb phrase، لكن الصفات ما بتجي ك predicator وما بتجي the head of the, you know, the verb phrase. There is an exception also here. Adjectives, according to the adjectives, actually here, adjectives occur not as predicator but as a complement to the verb. يعني الادجكتيف بتجي كتكملة للفعل، لأنه قلنا نحن الادجكتيف ممكن تجي بعد الفعل، بعد الفعل مثل فعل مثلا be or become or seem or sound. All of these kind of verbs, you know, this, most of the stative verbs بيجي بعدهم adjectives. Okay, like let's read the following examples. Here, they love you. They love you. Okay, this is verb. We regret it. You enjoy it. While the adjective here, they are, okay, they are fond of you. We cannot, you know, this is also, you know, found come after the verb or verb to be, you know. He became sad. So here sad يلي هي الصفة اجت بعد الفعل. You seem appreciative. أنت تبدو يعني شخص مقدر. So this is, you know, appreciative. It comes after, you know, the verb seem. Okay. So قلنا الفانكشن تبع الفعل بيختلف عن الفانكشن تبع الصفات. Okay. Now let's talk about, here we got overlap between the categories، يعني التداخل between الفئات. بعض الأفعال ممكن تكون بحد ذاتها صفة. تمام، رح انزل مباشرة أنا على I'm going to just immediately okay read the example in order to provide you with, you know, the in order to let you understand the lecture more, you know, or the point more. Sorry. Okay, here they are entertaining. They are entertaining يعني هم مسليون. The clock was broken. The clock was broken. Broken here, it can be verb. It can be adjective. Entertaining also, you know. Entertain, this can be, you know, verb. It can be adjective. Okay, so the verbal interpretations is they are currently receiving guests, while the adjectival, you know, interpretation is they are enjoyable. Okay, so here يعني الفعل انه انه هن عم يستقبلوا ضيوف، والتفسير الصفة تبعه انه هم here التفسير الفعلي لإلهم إنه they are currently receiving guests، إن هلأ حاليا عم يستقبلوا ضيوف، بينما the adjectival interpretations يلي هو التفسير تمام تبع الصفات. I don't know how to say it in Arabic. They are enjoyable إنه هن مسليين. Okay, so this is the differences. So what they want to add is they are very entertaining, and they only mean they are very enjoyable. So we only replace be or seem or become, you know. فهون يعني in order to understand the adjective, usually I said that after some verbs like seem, verb to be, like become, like sound. All of these, uh, all of these kind of, how to say it, you know, uh, verbs, we usually put after them adjectives. And sometimes they give us here an example like tame. tame يعني for example tame تجي the, the tame horse يعني الحصان المروض, or I tamed the horse يعني أنا روضت الحصان. So tame as itself, مثل ما هي بتجي بمعنى مروض, بتجي بمعنى يروض. Okay, this is what I want to tell you actually. Let's, just I will take just 2 or 3 minutes as a break and I will continue. Okay, so here we are going to talk about, comparison between adjectives with, determinatives, okay? Adjectives with determinatives. So here we are, what I want to pay your attention in. Let me just try to, make it bigger, yeah, this way. Okay. So what I want to know, to let you know, that the article can be obligatory, in most cases in the NBs. Here, let me highlight this point. Mhm. So the articles, to distinguish الارticle اللي هي ال A والآن والذا, can be obligatory يعني اختيارية. Okay, when بالN B بالnoun phrase. Okay, with, with a count of singular noun. Okay, like for example the dog barked, or a dog barked. So here the article is required. I cannot say, the duck park. This is not grammatical. Okay, so قلنا الارticle هي اختيارية. Okay, not sorry, not اختيارية, sorry, it's not optional, it's obligatory يعني إجبارية. Okay, so here the article is can be obligatory يعني ممكن تكون إجبارية أو كتير ضرورية. Okay, مثل the example that the dog parked or a dog parked, both are correct, but we cannot say that just dog parked, so this is not grammatical. Again, with number 2, the articles, can noun gradable. الارticles are non-gradable يعني ما إلهم درجات الارticle. هن article they are fixed, هن أصل واحد ما إلهم تدريج منهم. So this is number 2, articles are non-gradable, while adjectives are gradable, which is يعني في تدريج لإلهم اللي هي superlative, comparative. The articles cannot be used predictively. What does that mean? الارticle لا يمكن استخدامهم بشكل تنبؤي. بس الصفات في عنا attributive في عنا predictive, adjectives. The articles serve to mark the NB, as a definite or indefinite rather than denoting some properties of the referent. الdefinite يلي هي الدا والindefinite يلي هي الأ. So قلنا إنه الارticle هي بتخدم كعلامة للNB noun phrase. تمام، بس يعني سواء كانت معرفة أو غير معرفة. تمام. this is the function of the articles. While on the other hand, here we go, according to adjectives, according to adjectives, the adjectives, they don't occur with article. يعني ما فيني أقول the wise لحالها هيك الحكيم. this is incorrect, and articles do not occur with them. They can occur as the only pre-head dependent of a count of singular noun. يعني فيني أقول the wise man أو the wise itself هي ما فيني أقولها. the wise لحالها ما بتجي بالجملة، ما فيني أقول the wise. There should be noun for it, singular noun. adjectives they can occur as a fused head. وهي ذكرناها إنه الadjective مثل the second. adjectives ممكن تجي كبديلة عن الاسم مثل those, okay, those or I brought uh, some jackets. The second one, okay, or the second is or two jacket. I bought two jackets. The second is very impressive, okay, like kind of this. So قلنا الصفات we can replace them, okay, بالاسم المحذوف, بس الارticles we can't, okay. Let's move on to to have this example, determinatives and adjectives. According to the determinatives, she gave me the sum apple. So here we cannot say the sum apple, because determinatives cannot occur before the articles cannot occur before determinatives. But here, he gave me the good apples. He gave me the good apples. إذا كان here pre-head, okay, here if it is pre-head, okay, adjectives, pre-head noun phrase, so we can put the article there. The second example, some guy called me to see you. Good guy called me to see you. So here it is, I can use determinators before the noun at first, but I cannot start the sentence by using the adjectives like good guy, good guy called Jesse. No, it can be. The last examples here, I took some of the books. I took some of the books. I took good of the books, so that the determinators, okay, can be before, after the verb, before the here also the noun, but we cannot say I took good of the books. We cannot, here it can't stand by itself. So some is fused head here, because there should be هون here بآخر جملة لو أوضح لكم بس, some is fused head with a pretative complement. يعني هون some فيني أقول I took some books of the books, okay, here هي هيك لازم تكون, but ما فيني أقول I took good of the books, this is unacceptable, okay. So even some adjectives cannot we put some we mentioned that we use adjective after verb, but not all the type of verbs, okay. Pay attention for this point. Now here we are going to talk about a gradable and non-gradable adjectives. Gradable and non-gradable adjectives, like the examples here. The chef, okay, the chief, difficulty, federal taxes, glandular fever, my left arm, okay, a medical problem, phonetic samples, pubic hair, 13th attempt. Okay, so here, what is the point here? Okay, what is the point here? Some adjective can be used, okay, to distinguish between count and non-countable nouns. The gradable versus non-gradable distinguish apply to used rather than lexemes, So here is the point, like the following examples here. Let me give you the following examples here. Yes. Oh, wait. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I'll stop the video until I finish the. Okay, here we are again. Sorry for interruption. Uh, Now, non-gradable use in the public interest. The British government. هي ما فيها تدريج. The motorway is now open. Okay. But if I want to make it kind of gradable, يعني تدريجيا لهي الصفات. Okay. فيني أقول a very public quarrel, a very British response. He was more open with us than the boss. Okay. So this is how when we want to make the adjectives gradable. يعني لأعطي الصفات درجة تدريجية أنا بحتاج بصراحة ومن الآخر adverbs like very public, like very British, more open. Okay. Sometimes modifiers. It depends. تمام. هلا the structure of adjective phrase. The structure of adjective. Okay. Yes, we will finish this and we will stop after we finish this. Okay. Now, كيف شكل الadjective phrase؟ إن الadjective phrase, okay, consists of an adjective as a head, alone, or accompanied by one of the dependents. Okay. Like, let's read the examples. Afraid of the dark. Here, afraid of the kind two children, bent on revenge, انتقام, from reality, okay, conversant with it, unaltered by it, good at chess, unfit for use, okay. So here, glad it was over, busy making lunch, uncertain what to do, difficult for us to see, eager to win, hard to grasp, thankful that no one had been hurt. So all of these examples, they are kind of complements. We use them as a complements in the sentence, and they are preposition phrase also. So here, what I want to pay your attention that the PP is obligatory, إلزامية, the preposition phrase. The sense of, here, the sense here is shown that to show you that, okay, requires a PP complement with on or upon. A conversant cannot occur at all without a complement. يعني عادة الadjective place ما فينهم يجوا يوقفوا لحالهم بالجملة إذا ما كان بعدهم أو متضمن فيهم ال PP يلي هي ال preposition phrase. أوكي. هلا بدنا نحكي عن الموديفايرز. نحن ذكرنا تماما إنه بالنسبة للadjectives أوكي يلي هي the common type of modifier for the adjective is the adverb يلي هي الadverb like the following examples here. Extremely hard, morally wrong, very useful, almost completely, watertight. Okay. This young, that old, no different. You need only to memorize, three or two examples of each because I will characterize you. Here, the first column, the I here, the I. Let me erase this. Okay. The first one, okay, with yellow, those are adverbs. While the second one, this young, that old, no difference, much better, any smaller, old enough, those are determinators. Those are determinators, okay? Now, the second point here, catches to access, dangerous in the extreme, and or in some respects good idea. So here the second point, which is the PP, okay, PP, preposition phrase. The last one here, the last one, 5 years old, 2 hours long, a great deal smaller, a bit over, powering. This is the noun phrase. So the last column or the last line, sorry, and a noun phrase, while the green, which is PP, the blue, which is, DP, and the first one, which is the adverb, okay? Adverb, this is adverb phrase. So usually the modifiers of the adjectives can be adverb phrase, determinative phrase, prepositional phrase, or noun phrase, okay? In the noun phrase. Now let me check. Do you understand it? You should just, guys, to memorize, as I mentioned, one singular example for each one. You don't have to memorize all of them. If you have been asked about something, so you should just to provide me with the examples. So we are going to stop here and continue tomorrow. See you soon, guys. Take care. Study hard. Wish you good luck.